All right, cool. All right, everyone, thank you for joining us. This is the Lone Chemist Podcast. My name is Johnny. I'm the Lone Chemist. I like long walks on the beach, pina coladas, getting caught in the rain. Tequila, I think, is superior to all the liquors. And I got two awesome guests here. So, yeah, I had Owen Likes Comics on a couple weeks ago, and I was just craving more Englishmen because, one, I like the accent, the way it sounds, and two, I'm also half English, so that's good. I have the poster childs of Full Fat Films, Matt and Chris. How's it going, boys?
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah, so
after this podcast, you'll have had enough of Brits.
Nah, man, dude, I'm half English. I grew up with this accent, so it's it's nice to hear it again.
Whereabouts in England are you from? Like, what's your background in England?
My entire mom's side of my family is from Nottinghamshire. It's like a small ass village, like way up north.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay. That's literally where neither of us are from. So that's annoying.
But Chris
perfect.
All
right.
North, so he probably is like your neighbour or something.
Yeah, it's true. If you've got web feet, you probably.
Well, there you go. And also, even though I don't look English, I am actually half English, but I'm Greek, so that explains the big nose and douchey full beard I have going here. So
I've got a massive nose. I haven't got any Greek in me as far as I know, so I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, well, dude, big noses matter, man. We're
big noses
brothers.
are great. Yeah, repping it.
All right. Well, I was saying for the podcast, huge fan of your content, and I think the first video that I saw from you guys was, I think, your Thanos one, because I had a video from Thanos that I did, which blew up out of nowhere. And honestly, your video kind of gave me inspiration to do my own. So just to praise you a little bit and to give you some shameless plugs. You guys are awesome. So very glad you guys are here.
Is that why you brought us on? If we could do just that for the next 60 minutes, that would be great. Plugging our videos, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's 60 minutes straight, just compliments.
Big fan of your Spectacular Now video as well.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, it's not doing too hot in the views because that's a movie that was released 7 years ago. But I mean, I don't know. I love that movie, and I just wanted to make a video about it. So I don't care if it has Thanos level views or anything like that.
Yeah. And I think sometimes with an Avengers video, it's going to do a certain amount of numbers. But if you do something that you want to talk about, it's worth it anyway, even if it's not going to get necessarily a million views. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's
Furious 7, which we knew wasn't going to break the bank.
Wait, which one you said?
We did something on Furious 7 recently.
Oh,
which is one of my I don't really believe in guilty pleasures, but if I did, that would be the top tier guilty pleasure movie. I really have a soft spot for the Furious 7.
So what do you call that then? If you don't call it guilty pleasure, you just call it a movie that you recognize as shit, but it's just fun.
No, but I think
so. I think I'm guilt-free and shame-free.
People kind of go, "Oh, it's my guilty pleasure," but really they actually just like it, don't they? And I think it is just taste snobism, isn't it? Like movies are here to entertain, isn't it? And at the end of the day, if you really like it, is it really that much for guilty pleasure? Especially if you're going to make a bloody video about it. You clearly, you're not that guilty about it, are you?
That's true. Yeah, it's shameless.
One of my teachers at school said, if you want to find out someone's film taste, don't say to them when you've just met them, what's your favourite film? Say to them what their guilty pleasure is. Because then they'll give you an honest answer, and they won't feel ashamed to say, they won't say oh, Citizen Kane. They'll say Furious 7 or, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
You're obsessed with that movie.
It's just so fun to say.
You literally brought it up on the last video we did today. You're so obsessed with that movie.
More people need to know what Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium is. The experience.
Yeah, Matt's gonna make a secret video essay and just post on the channel about how much he loves that movie.
I mean, you joke. There is a secret video essay on our channel which you can get to about how I love Theodore Rex, the Whoopi Goldberg vehicle from the 90s. That was the. I'm not even joking, am I, Matt? There is genuinely. If you want to seek it out, there is actually a way to get to it through N-cards. If you want to find our secret hidden video essay on the channel,
we basically did a Black Mirror video essay which didn't do that well, but it was. Choose your own video essay where basically you click through to the end cards and you find different things. And then nestled within that, we had a few secret things. We had a Theodore Rex essay, which was entirely unrelated to Black Mirror. But we just thought we'd stick it in there.
And there's a video just of your Thanos thing where the audio slowly dips out and you can just hear you laughing, and that's for 15 minutes of just a loop of you laughing.
We took it to strange new places.
Oh my God, that's amazing. So I wanted to ask, you guys, how old are you guys? You're like mid-20s, I assume?
Well, I'm turning 24 on Friday.
Oh, word. Well, happy early birthday. And how about you?
I'm 24 now, but I'm 25 soonish. So there's a year difference in us. Well, not a year, but like there's your standard school gap between us. But
okay. And so how do you guys know each other? Like, are you guys like brothers or just like really good friends or what?
We're brothers from other mothers.
I can see your face light up when he said that.
And I'm gonna hang up now.
We actually met at uni. I joined the film society called XTV at University of Exeter down in Devon, and Chris was the head of creative at the time, which basically meant that if there were any short film scripts that were sort of in development, you'd go to this guy to sort of get your short film made with the members that were there. And then I went to meet him for like a 15-minute coffee just to talk about a short film idea I had. And then he revealed to me that he was a big fan of Doctor Who. I'm a massive fan of Doctor Who as well. And then we ended up talking about it for probably like 4 hours, I'd say. And then, we just went from there. We started making short films together. And actually, we've just never looked back. Basically, he's never been able to get rid of me ever since. This
pretty much, yeah. No, and it's weird actually. We do need to post them on the community tab. We have a lot of shit student films that we made. Well, I say shit. I'm really proud of them, and I was really proud of them at the time. But looking back on them now, there's one that's basically like a 70s cop parody that we ended up making together with some of his friends from school. That's literally shot with deliberately bad green screen, so you can see him in a stationary car. And then there's just like clear, poor green screen errors throughout, and like the dialogue's deliberately out of sync and things like that. But I think a lot of people mistook it for the dialogue being out of sync and the CGI being bad and didn't get it.
Yeah, they didn't get it. The best thing I think we made was outside of our campus, there was a Christmas market, and we were really struggling for content on XTV. So I was like, well, why don't I just eat everything at the Christmas market until I throw up, and I'll try and make it a challenge. And we called it Whittle v Market. And Chris is behind camera, and I'm just eating like hot dogs, a Christmas pizza, like the works. It was one of the most delicious days I've ever had, but I did throw up. And
what was perfect was you got to every stall, and then by sheer coincidence, on the last one, like literally on the last bite, you threw up. It could have been more perfectly structured. So we basically accidentally got a 3-act structure from it, which was just going to be this shit thing that we did.
I maintain that I could have eaten more, but the final thing that we had was a hog roast, and it was not good. And I put a load of apple sauce on it to help it go down, and that just did not sit right in my stomach, and it all just sort of came up.
Because I remember you came on my couch afterwards and you just sat there moaning for like 2 hours. I don't mean moaning as in complaining. I mean like literally like, oh. It's like you're being put down at the vets or something. Those are the noises you imagine.
What's wrong, doctor? He's eaten too much hog roast.
So like, is that why you guys are full fat films? Like you guys just have eating challenges and with like your video essays or what?
Matt, do you want to take this one? Fucking hell.
I guess we just sort of liked working together, and then when we left uni, I mean, I'm from London, and Chris moved down to London. We both, got various TV work, doing running and all sorts of different bits and bobs, and I think we just wanted to sort of continue collaborating. I was out of work for a little bit, out of uni. Chris had a job because he's organised, and I was like to him, "Do you want to start doing video essays? Because I think we could maybe do some good ones." And he was on board, and then we just went from there. We were very lucky early on.
We're beyond lucky. We're beyond lucky. Our first video did really well on Reddit, which was like literally just posted it randomly on Reddit, like no strategy to it, and it picked up like really quickly. So we had about 1,000 subscribers in about a month, didn't we? Which is difficult. It's difficult, and there was no skill or art. Well, I say there was no skill, other than your standard. The thumbnail was designed and it was titled and it had tags and things. I don't think there was any particular we've groundbreakingly done this incredible innovative marketing strategy or anything.
No. I think the thing that really helps channels just getting off the ground, it just sounds like a no-brainer, but just making sure you have a release pattern. Like we had a big spreadsheet of probably just about 50 spitballed ideas, and we were just like, this needs to come out this day, this needs to come out this day, and then we just stuck to it. Sometimes to our detriment, but
And then the name, alas, comes from literally Matt introduced me to the most obnoxious phrase ever, which was if something's good, it was milk. I don't know the origin for it. So if something was really good, it was full fat, and if something was shit, it was skimmed. I'm going to kept saying it. So
I'm going to do a little plug here for one of our friends who runs a podcast called Your Favorite Film Is Awful. Charlie Lilly of that podcast. He was the guy at school that first broached milk into our vocabulary. And he claimed that he came up with it, and he kept being like, "Got milk, guys? Got milk?" We were like, "You've not come up with that. Like that's from those adverts." But then it kind of evolved from there. So you'd have full fat milk that would be like the most awesome thing you could get, and then you'd have like skimmed milk, or you'd be lactose intolerant, all this kind of stuff would spin out of it, and then it just kind of stuck. And then I kept saying it even into uni. We started saying it, and then when it came to finding a name for the channel, we just thought, that kind of makes sense, full fat videos. And then we've got an obvious way of being like, oh, we really like this thing, it's milk. Yeah, I think people get it. People get it, right? They get it.
We do actually sometimes see these bizarre comments that are like, "Oh, that's really milky video," and I'm like, "What? We don't even say that in the videos."
A milky video. Oh, brother. Well, hopefully this is a milk podcast, but we'll see in about an hour or so how we're feeling about it. But yeah, like what you said is actually like that's so true. So from my background, I'm a graduate student in chemistry, and I started my channel just needing a creative outlet from the lab, and I've always liked video essays and film analysis. And because of my actual job in the lab as a scientist, I don't get to like make videos as concurrently and as like frequently as I want to, which is probably why I only have like 15K subs. So yeah, I should take one out of your playbook for the next couple of weeks and have like a whole Google calendar of like all the shit I want to do.
As long as you're enjoying it and you're getting creatively fulfilled out.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Because we never did it with the intent for it to even be big. We were just doing it out of boredom.
Yeah, and then it just because we needed that outlet. That's why we were like, we need to hit this and this. And I think we just really enjoyed it really early on, didn't we? And
yeah, exactly.
Do you do all of it by yourself?
Yes, I do. Hence the lone chemist.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I could do it by myself. I don't think I could do it without Chris.
Yeah, so I was going to ask.
Is this what I'm supposed to say the other way around?
or it could be a condescending fuck. Like, yeah, you're right. You'd fucking crash and burn without me, man. So I wanted to ask. So obviously, like it's a kind of a two-person thing here. What's the division of labor for you guys? Like, does one person do all the editing, one person does all the kind of the storyboarding and creative stuff, or voiceovers? You guys kind of swap in and out. Like, what's the division of labor here?
Well, Chris does everything, and then I'm just here for the raw sex appeal, really.
It's literally.
You should have put one more button in your shirt, man. If you're the sex appeal guy.
We try and get out one video a week, but then obviously when you split it between two, that's from like conception to like final edit. That's actually one video every 2 weeks each. So it tends to be that whilst one of us is working on the video from like an edit perspective for that week, the other person started writing it. I mean, Matt does all the voiceovers because I can't stand the sound of my own voice personally, and Matt likes the sound of his own voice, so that works really well. But we tend to be pretty much 50-50, and like anything that's like business end of it, we're completely 50-50 on it.
Yeah.
And like we spent, before we started the channel, we did spend a couple of months like getting the logo, getting the branding and things like that, getting the thumbnail templates down. So like, it has really, really been super like just 50-50 from the get-go. We were quite lucky in that we both know how to edit, we both know how to use After Effects, things like that. So there's no kind of like grey area on our skills or anything really, is there, Matt?
Occasionally, if one of us has got a busy week with other things, one of us will do 2 videos in a row, and then the other person will do 2 videos in a row afterwards. Got it. So for example, with like the cap video, I did both parts, but Chris helped me out because that was mammoth, and I needed the extra pair of hands. And then you did 2 in a row, didn't you? You did Will I Am and something else.
I was going to say, you'll notice it sometimes. If we've done a 20-minute essay, you might see that the next 2 essays are slightly shorter, but that's usually because we've done 2 say Matt's done that one for like 3 or 4 weeks, or I've done one for a length of time, and then the other person has sort of like picked up that part of the channel. But obviously then when you're trying to hit a video a week, it can't be 30-minute video, or it could be, but then it'd just be padded, and it wouldn't be, because I say we put out a video a week, but also we want them to be good videos. Do you know what I mean? I'm not just going to upload a video of me eating a banana and that's content. But, unless people want us to.
Your mum and my mum would watch you eat a banana.
Oh, they would. It's really, they would. They'd comment and go, really proud of you, as they do on most of them.
Well, like, my mum would message me and say, like, oh, do I need to watch to the end for you to get, like, all the revenue? And I'm like, well, if you want, mum, like, don't worry about it. You don't have to.
A really cute thing. I believe sometimes my parents just rewatch them just for, like, the ad. Oh. So like, they don't watch the video, they'll just put it on, and then they'll skip forward to the bit where the next ad is, and they'll play that, and they'll just do that. And I have it loaded on the phone just for the...
Oh, thanks, Mom and Dad, for the 30 cents. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. But that's awesome, though. And I really like how it's very commensalist with you guys, where it's like it's a give and take relationship where like the conception is together, but like you're able to be independent and make videos on your own, but you also collaborate, every step of the way, which is really awesome and makes me jealous because I wish I had another chemist with me, but then it wouldn't be the lone chemist. It would be the chem duo or something. I don't even know.
Just keep calling yourself the lone chemist, take all the credit, and then just lock this other person in the basement.
Isn't that essentially the model for this for our channel?
You shut your mouth.
Yeah, like you see Chris like come out like at the end of the video with like a gimp outfit, like all like chained up and shit. He's like, yeah, I got the chest, man. Oh fuck, that's hilarious. So what I guess what inspired you guys to get into like the video essay format? Like, because like obviously like from what I gather, you guys both studied film or even like or I guess media production more generally in college.
We both did English lit, but then...
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but then through the film society that we did, we sort of picked up a lot of the techniques and like learned Premiere Pro, Photoshop, all that kind of stuff. I think sometimes it's better to do that kind of thing as a hobby because a lot of my friends from school went and did film degrees, and basically every short film is a group project. And I'm sure Chris will also agree with me that group projects at uni, there'd always be one doing more work than everyone else, or someone wouldn't turn up, and I'd often hear from my mates in like the WhatsApp chat that they'd be having all these issues on their degree because every project's a group project and someone would pull their weight, and I think they ended up almost detesting making films, which is what they loved. And then if we were to do it when I came back and it was on our own time again, suddenly it would be a really nice process. So I think having obviously it works for everyone's different, but I found that doing it outside of my degree on my own time with people like Chris was really beneficial for me.
Yeah.
Chris.
No, I'd agree with that. I don't know. I think when something ceases to become something that you have to do, like, so for example, if you're doing a film degree, sometimes you get a brief, right? You have to make a film. Maybe you just hate that fucking brief. You still got to make the damn thing. And you've got to make it good. But like, good films don't come from hitting a brief, do they? They come from you wanting... everyone's phoned something in, and it shows when you phone things in very evidently. So I'd hate for making things to be something that like we phone in. I think what we were really, I always say that I think what really started us with video essays was when Batman v Superman came out. Do you enjoy that film? I fucking hate it.
Do you think I would have laughed if I liked it? Dude, I think that movie is deplorable.
Oh, thank God. I would have closed the tab if you'd have been like, yeah, the Snyderverse is incredible.
This man looks like the sort of man that wants the Snyder Cut released.
Oh my God. Dude, I hate that meme so much because like whenever Warner Brothers tweets legitimately anything, they get bombarded with like, it's really nice you said that. By the way, release Snyder Cut right now, you fucking, cucks.
Yeah. It's never coming. It's never. And also, if it does come out, it's not going to be good. You saw Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
It sucks.
No, they cut out all those references to Paradise Lost. But
basically, art references that really saved the movie.
We went and saw it at the cinema. Well, Matt dragged me there because I wouldn't go to the midnight screening with him. So we went in the morning, and I fell asleep twice. It was that shit. But anyway, there were loads of pretentious people who we knew who were like, I don't think you quite understood the nuance of it.
Oh my God.
And then Nerdwriter dropped that absolutely fucking incredible video on Moments v Scenes, if Batman v Superman. And suddenly we had the perfect, in our heads, like this kind of, the perfect retort to that of just, watch this video. This is literally why you're wrong. And I think ever since then, we've kind of been like, wish we could do something like that, where someone could like drop one of something that we made and just go, I think that really was, I think, even though that was about 2 years before we started the channel, I always think that's when we first started getting into video essays properly.
Dude,
I'd always seen video essays and thought, oh, it'd be great if we could do that, and kind of having this sort of longing to do it, but I think not sort of wanting to take the leap, because it's a big commitment.
No, I agree.
Yeah, for sure. And also that's so funny because actually Nerdwriter's BVS video actually, I mean, I wanted to make video essays like before that, but that was really the straw about the camel's back, because like I remember watching that and I was like, this is exactly how I feel about this movie, but I'm not either pretentious enough or like insightful enough to offer this critique of it. So I was like, I really want to be able to like express myself in this format. And obviously like I started my channel in 2018 by American Psycho video. So it was quite a bit before that, but that's so funny that like we both got kind of inspired by the same thing, or we all did. That's pretty hilarious.
I mean, I think for me, like I did obviously follow Every Frame of Painting, which was like one of the first major ones
Tony's
when it came out. But I always thought that was such a kind of high, I mean, I really rate him. I still do. I think it was an incredible project. But that was so sort of like highbrow, and it would often be like, here's this one dialogue shot in Fargo, here's 20 minutes on it. It'd be this really, really sort of highbrow. And I always, when I watched Nerdwriter, I think that was when I was like, oh, people do stuff on kind of low culture stuff too. And that's when we were kind of like, because I always thought video essays, you would have to do them on things like Akira Kurosawa or like, or Orson Welles in Citizen Kane. So when Nerdwriter started doing things on like the history of the Super Nintendo and like, how Donald Trump writes a speech, we were kind of like, oh, we can actually make videos about things that aren't just like your go-to things that you would make videos about if you were a film student, if that makes sense.
No, for sure.
I like that, because then it's just, it's just cinema. It's not, oh, this is really highbrow, this is lowbrow, this is an Oscar-worthy movie, this is an action movie. It's all just movies that we want to dissect and talk about. I think the video essay landscape is really interesting at the moment. There's so many interesting creators and such a breadth of different kind of styles and content. I really like Cosmonaut Variety Hour.
Yeah.
And you love Cosmonaut, don't you? He's great. Yeah,
so different to Nerdwriter, and yeah. Yeah,
for sure. I like the way you brought up every video essay is like, it's so different from creator to creator, even though we're all kind of in the same sphere. Like, and also, like, I mean, like we're all on the same kind of like film YouTube chat or whatever on Twitter. And it's kind of funny, like after talking with some of these guys, and also you guys too, I notice myself in my editing, I see like some of like your guys' voices kind of appear in my videos, because it's like we all have different tastes and different perspectives. And so like, I kind of like how we're able to influence each other even in a subliminal way, because I mean, I appreciate you guys' content a lot. But also, I mean, like people like, Brown Table or Bailey does Loverboy Media. It's kind of cool to see like, the influence of other people's styles onto your own, if it makes any sense.
It's nice again to kind of know those guys a little bit over Twitter, because, like a lot of them, we'd already been watching their videos. So it was kind of like, now you get to see sort of like the man behind the essay.
Yeah, because that was bizarre, because I some of these people, like I remember when we first chat, we were on about 40 subs, weren't we, or something at the time?
We were even lower than
maybe
that.
Even less. It could be about 28, because we were added by Nitpicks, who I really rate Nitpicks' content generally, but that was a surprise. And it was weird seeing people like Carsten in there who were already on like 100k subs, and we were like, oh, we'll never get to that, because it just seems so. Some of these people in that chat, like Captain Midnight, they just seem so far away from us. So it's quite interesting when chatting to them on the level. Yeah,
put in a group chat like that, it's like, oh wow, like these people, like, we recognize them and we love them.
Followed, for a long time,
that's how I felt too. I did a podcast with Bailey from Loverboy Media, and he added me to that group chat, I think in like December or so in 2018. And I remember thinking, I'm like, I am a piece of shit. I'm a dog shit creator. Why the fuck am I talking to these people? Like, they're all like, this fucking depressed guy with a beaker for his logo. God damn it. What the
I mean, we have a cow as our logo, so we're in the same bracket as you, mate. But dude, anonymity for the win.
Dude, that's milk though, man. It's milk. All right.
Would you ever put milk into your beaker? Would you ever consider it? Like,
I don't know, man.
You know what? You're coming on to him.
no, it doesn't.
Yeah, your face looks a little red there, man.
You can see the guitar in the background there. That makes you look cool, man. That's nice.
Guitar?
Yeah, you got it in the edge of frame. That makes you look really cool, man. Yeah.
Oh man, I have my guitar too. We should have like a douchey, like, tortured artist jam session sometime on a live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a song that I wrote about like growing up in America. It's called Water. It's I'm gonna whisper really softly in the microphone for like 3.5 minutes, and that's some pretentious stuff.
Congratulations, you've made an Elliott Smith album.
Well, hey, I do like Elliott Smith, even though like all of his songs kind of sound the same at a certain point. So like I wanted to ask, so do you ever try and like, I guess for lack of a better word, choreograph your videos to like coincide with releases in the United States, or like, dropping trailers or like coinciding with like dropping trailers? Cause I imagine the time change makes it kind of like, cumbersome for you guys.
We've definitely, I think this year, sometimes to our detriment, have tried to get things out timed to releases.
Yeah. Like Far From Home, trying to get a Spider-Man video out to like get on the day that's Far From Home and it's released.
It's difficult because I think last year we just did things when we were motivated to do them, and it'd be a happy accident if something like, I remember the Iron Man came out, and we didn't plan this. It came out the same day as the Captain Marvel trailer. I think that undoubtedly helped us. But then this year, I think we kept sort of thinking like with the John Wick essay and the Furious 7 essay, there was a need to get it out when the movies came out. And I think sometimes it's better to just do things because you feel passionate about writing about them. Not that we didn't want to do them, but for example, the John Wick essay, I'd been wanting to do that since we started doing full fat videos. And then suddenly it rolled around to May and I was like, oh, well, if I want 3 comes out, right? So then it suddenly became, I need to do it now. So sometimes I think that got a bit stressful. I don't know how you felt, Chris.
Oh, it's definitely that. Also, it's algorithm roulette, isn't it? Because just because something comes out, I think the only thing you can guarantee will spike your traffic, which you can't plan for because often they're dropped in a surprise, is when a trailer comes out.
Yeah.
The new Star Wars trailer comes out for Episode 9. All our Star Wars videos are going to get a hit because people are suddenly like, oh, I'm really interested in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe you go and see John Wick 3, but then maybe you don't start. I mean, I look at film clips after I've seen a film. Do you know what I mean? That's just one of the first things I do. But maybe you don't do that for 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's such a roulette. Like, there's no guarantee either way. Do you know what I mean? There was no guarantee. It worked for us with Far From Home and Spider-Man, that people happened to go and see Far From Home and then we're looking at Spider-Man videos. But sometimes you just can't judge it.
Sometimes it's hard to tell though. I mean, did Far From Home help the Spider-Man video like that much? Like we don't really know.
No.
Yeah. I find this like so fascinating because like, I mean, YouTube says like they have the most advanced algorithm of all time, but does that predicate in the fact that you drop a video and then 6 months later it gets big, or as soon as you drop it, people start searching for it and then it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point? I find this stuff so interesting because like there's no real way to like game the system unless you're like a massive channel. Yeah. YouTube's
but even then, is that gaming the system, or is that just literally the fact that because you've got so many subscribers already?
Yeah.
Because the algorithm, it boosts. If you're PewDiePie and you put out a video, you're pretty much guaranteed 1 million. But then obviously, because you've got that 1 million so quickly, you're going to be on trending and what's hot. So it's like you say, it's all a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? Really.
I think not just video essayists, every YouTuber has probably pounded a load of hours into a video they think is going to do really well, and then it flops or it doesn't do as well as they wanted and it's crushing, and then the next week you might put like 5 hours into something and then it gets 100K in a week and you're like, oh well, there's literally no correlation to the amount of time I put in and to the amount of views. It's like it's just completely dependent on what people are watching, what the algorithm dictates.
Yeah, dude, like that's the worst because like, I mean, my Thanos video, I mean, I worked hard on that for sure, but like the video I spent the most time on my channel was my Adam McKay video. I don't know if you guys all watched that one, but like I went into like how Adam McKay is probably one of the most exciting directors working today, in my opinion. And like, I tried to like drop it. I didn't want to like, ploy for views, but I wanted to try and coincide it with the release of Vice last year. And didn't work.
It's hard, man. It's really hard because
Because did Vice make people search for Adam McKay, or did it make them search for, Dick Cheney? That's the question, isn't it? That
exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of Vice, have you guys seen Vice?
Yeah, I really loved it.
Me too.
I don't get why people didn't like it.
I mean, like, I can, to play devil's advocate, I can see why they maybe didn't like it because, I mean, my subscriber's gonna fucking kill me because I've talked about this movie so many goddamn times, but whatever. Basically, I can understand if people don't buy into the whole kind of pseudo documentary ethos he's putting on screen, because it's very much one part political satire, one part biopic, one part political farce, and one part pseudo documentary. And so those conflicting tones of like being completely serious but completely self-referential, not serious at all, I can understand why people maybe don't like it, because I mean everything is so political these days, and if something counteracts your own confirmation bias, then you're doomed to kind of view it through like that kind of myopic lens. But I mean, if you take all that shit out of it, I thought it was brilliant, and especially the editing in that movie was just incredible.
Yeah, it just felt so bold and fresh to mash all those things together.
Yeah.
And I really like The Big Short. But I think
love The Big Short.
It took the elements that worked from that, like when it cut to like Margot Robbie explaining a thing, and it dialed it up to 11. And yeah, but I just think I don't know. I think people, when they expect something from a movie and then they get something different that was maybe surprising, there's kind of a
The Last Jedi.
yeah. Or Bro Thor, all those kinds of things. It's a shame. Like, I really liked Us this year, and I thought that felt really fresh in the way the tone mixed, people joking around whilst they're in the middle of these like real situations. And a lot of people didn't like that I spoke to about it. But to me, I was like, oh, well, that felt really different. And I do think, have you seen Us?
Yes, I have. I liked it a lot. I think I like Get Out a little more than Us, but I still really liked it.
I prefer it to Get Out, I think.
Really?
It's your favourite film of the year, isn't it? It's my second favourite.
I absolutely loved it. I think Get Out's got more to say, but I think in terms of Jordan Peele's direction, I think he really stepped it up with Us. There's some moments in it where like it's absolutely chilling, and everyone's acting their socks off, particularly like as they're tethered as well. Like some of the ways they move their bodies is absolutely terrifying to me.
Also, it's really funny. It's funny and Get Out.
It's hilarious. But I think you would react the way they react, like, when they're saying things like, oh, I killed 2 of them. I killed the most of them. You haven't killed anyone. Even though they're in the middle of these like horrible situations, I feel like if that was you would start making light out of things. Like, everyone's been in a horrible situation, or, their friend's been upset, or family member's been upset, and then, they've maybe perhaps after a bit of time has passed made a joke out of it.
Yeah.
That to me just felt really, really true to life in a way.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great way to put it, because like a normal person, when like they're being tormented by a certain thing, like usually to cope with it, they'll make a joke out of it, or they'll be kind of self-referential with it. That's a good point. I totally agree with you. The intangibles, like the filmmaking cred, I think Jordan Peele really outdid himself with the directing, with staging. I just personally found Get Out more palatable, but I still like them almost equally as much. If I had to like a gun in my head and had to pick one, probably Get Out. But I mean, I still really liked Us a lot. Like, and the ending is just completely bonkers.
I feel like Get Out's a better. Get Out is a more like linear film, isn't it? Like it's very like narrow. I feel like Us is more all over the place. But I just think of the films that I think for me, because Get Out almost by nature of what it's trying to say has such a sort of digestible message.
Yeah.
And I feel like what Us had, which I don't think Get Out does, is I'm still thinking about Us now. Like, oh, what did that mean? Which, it's neither a good or a bad thing, but Us has had more of an impact on me because I just keep thinking about it. The same thing I said to you about Midsummer, which is my favourite film of this year.
Really?
I'm still thinking about it. And like you enjoyed it, didn't you, Matt? Like,
I enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as you did.
No, not to the same.
I mean, it's too long. But having said that, I will still go see the extended cut.
Oh, I'd definitely go and see it.
Like 3 hours, isn't it? Or a bit longer?
Something
crazy, I've heard
yeah.
some of the information is unnecessary, but like I think I just think a bit like what you just said about Us. Like Ari Aster has just stepped it out the park there. That was Kubrick-esque, that film. For Us.
Oh my god!
It does have faults. It does have faults. I'm not saying that, but I think like in terms of like big gamble, big filmmaking, big horror filmmaking, it's incredible.
Oh yeah.
I think it's so unsettling, even though there's not a lot of like actual scares, it's just like the atmosphere throughout the entire thing, start to finish, is creepy. And also to pull that off in a film that's predominantly in daylight is such a feat.
It's so impressive. And like Get Out and Us, I like Hereditary more than Midsommar, but like I'm in awe of the fact that Ari Aster made a film like that, where like he kind of goes for a traditional horror movie aesthetic, but he places it all in broad daylight, and he doesn't do like really any, you know, jump scares or like stings or anything like that. He shows you exactly what he wants to show you, and your reaction to it is predicated on how you perceive that moment, which I think is really, honestly, pretty genius.
Have you seen his short film? I always confuse the name with the
Strange Thing About the Johnsons, right?
Yeah, I always confuse it with There's Something About the Joneses, the Gal Gadot, John Hamm rom-com. It's not that. It's not. What is it called again? There's Something Strange About the Johnsons.
Yeah.
Okay, I always call it There's Something About the Joneses, the other thing. But yeah, I thought that was fantastic. I watched that just before I watched Midsommar. Oh, okay. Well, I won't spoil anything, but yeah.
Yeah, don't spoil it. But to talk about Midsommar a little bit, I think that Hereditary, if we're going to compare the two films, I think Hereditary did a better job, in my opinion, of, you know, you understand why the movie is predicated on the fact that, you know, this is how we deal with family tragedy, and he does it in a very horror movie aesthetic kind of way. And with Midsommar, I feel like some of the leading premises for the movie didn't really engross me as much as Hereditary. Like, for example, if we look at Hereditary, spoilers, that scene where basically Toni Collette realizes her daughter is dead, and like the staging of her like sobbing and like that blood curdling cry on the floor, and then in the same staging it zooms out and zooms back in while like they're laying her to rest, like with the coffin and shit. I will think about that montage to the day I fucking die. Like that genuinely disturbed me. But with Midsommar though, even though I liked a lot of the moments in the film, I feel like some of them didn't really land as hard for me, and some of them that actually do land are a little too blatant for my taste, because like again, spoilers for the end of the film. You know how like Christian is sewn into the bear suit and he's being burned at the stake, like at the end. Like, so I get what they were trying to do, because he's like, you know, he's a beast. He's like kind of like a soul sucking kind of person in Andy's life, but that point is so abundantly clear in the actual film that having that, you know, the silhouette of the bear, which is beautiful, by the way, I just thought it was kind of heavy-handed for someone that kind of prides themselves in being so subtle and so kind of nuanced with their filmmaking style. But I mean, that said, I think Midsommar is a brilliant film, even though I didn't like it as much as Hereditary.
I think it's interesting that you say that, because I think I have that kind of problem with Hereditary.
Really?
I think it kind of goes off the rails a little bit. For me, the problem I have with it is when you lose Toni Collette's character, when she gets possessed, it's like the lead character has disappeared from the movie. Like, she's dead essentially, even though, you know, she's still in the movie physically.
Yeah.
And it's just like it then descends into more of a traditional horror film, which I don't think it needed to do. Like, the most horrifying stuff about the movie is, as you say, when the daughter dies. And I think Midsommar's more confident in letting it breathe and letting it just be unsettling and not divulging into, oh, you know, someone's got to get cut up or set on fire or whatever. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I see that perspective for sure. What did you think about Hereditary, Chris?
I've actually not seen Hereditary.
Oh, well,
you can tell me to watch it, don't you, Matt?
Well, that puts a damper in the conversation. Oh man, sad.
That's why I was sort of like knowingly nodding, like.
He can give you a comprehensive review of Rambo: Last Blood, though.
Yeah, I very much can. Yeah.
Can we not? I don't want to get a brain tumor in the podcast. Like, can we not?
All you need to know is that the trailer is the entire movie.
Yeah.
So, like, everything you see in the trailer, everything else is padded around that trailer to just have like brooding shots of Rambo. There is no more content.
I said to Chris, he was like, oh, what do you think it's going to be? And I was like, oh, it's roughly 90 minutes. I think it's all basically set on the farm. You know, Sly Stallone obviously saw Logan and was like, yeah, one of those, please. And it was all going to take place on the farm. And I thought the farm would be under attack. And I think, Chris, you said you read a synopsis that said it was something from his past coming back to haunt him.
Yeah, I've seen
which I guess kind of with the tunnels kind of is evocative of Nam, but it doesn't really quite. It's nothing from his past, really. And then what the movie turns out to be is a rip-off of Taken, where his niece gets kidnapped and then he has to go to Mexico. Except it's nowhere near as fun as Taken.
Yeah.
And, you just kind of meander around Mexico and then going back to the farm and then Mexico. Like, he takes like 2 or 3 trips, doesn't he?
It's literally like someone took Taken, John Wick, and... I don't know, what's a terrible slasher film, like Hostel 2.
Oh, God.
And put them in a blender and then then put that into a computer that couldn't quite write a screenplay and said, write a screenplay. It's such an odd movie.
I think that's actually an insult to John Wick. And I think part of the reason why action movies are having such a hard time at the moment, like these purebred action movies like something that Stallone would have starred in the 80s, is because once you have something like John Wick, where you can see that Keanu is actually trained and he's doing all these moves, he's doing the jiu-jitsu. To go back to something like Rambo, in Rambo Last Blood, you can tell that they're shooting it in insane close-ups and shaky cam because Stallone's like, 72 or whatever, and he can't do half of these moves.
But also, I feel like you're giving it almost too much credit by being like, it's worse because we're in post-John Wick verse. Like, it's a piece of shit. It's so badly made. And, like, the dialogue, some of the dialogue in it. And, like, it's just little things like, spoilers. There is literally a bit where he just starts walking and he's being followed and he's trying to, like, stand up to these gangsters, who, by the way, are called Victor and Hugo in a reference to Les Miserables for reasons that boggle my mind since it's set in Mexico. And so he walks and it goes, he just keeps walking and all these gang members follow him. And then the leader's just stood there at the top of this, like, is it like a car park or something? Right. And then he turns around and there's like 50 guys there and they just beat him up. That's an actual set piece in the movie.
The thing I think...
That's it. I'm not even exaggerating, am I? That is actually...
No, you're not. But also his niece, who he goes to rescue, she gets tortured, her face gets mutilated, raped her when they've basically like hooked her up on heroin, and then she dies on the ride home. Spoilers. If anyone's just had the movie spoiled for them, don't worry, you won't want to see it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, why is this so nasty? I've had no context as to why I should really care about these characters. I'm just being bombarded with nastiness after nastiness. It's like, it doesn't suit the tone of the movie. Like, I said to Chris, let's go see it, because it'll probably be like fun, wham bam, bullets everywhere. And it wasn't that at all. It felt like a slasher flick until the end.
Oh, God. Like, I hate that because, like, one of my biggest pet peeves in movies is a movie that has no idea what it wants to be, and it ends up being an amalgamation of like 6 or 7 different movies, and it does all of the genre it's predicated on really shittily. Like, and this kind of speaks to a different subject. I don't know why they're taking franchises that, I mean, yeah, I guess they were popular back in the day, but they weren't like phenomenon inducing genres and movies. Why are they doing this? Because, like, if you're really going to revitalize a certain genre, like for example, Blade Runner 2049 with Denis Villeneuve, like he took that really broad premise and he made a beautiful film out of it. But with these, they're making a shittier version of the genre film that came before it, and no one gives a fuck about Rambo. That's a millennial these days, in my opinion. But
it was like fan fiction. It doesn't feel canon.
I mean, it definitely isn't, because the author of Rambo was like, this is an embarrassment.
Yeah. He said that?
Yeah.
He's literally openly been like, please don't put my name anywhere near this movie. Don't associate me with this movie. I'm surprised he made it onto the credits, given how much he hates it. Do you know what I mean? It sounds like he was...
The credits are their own special thing in that movie.
Oh, God.
I mean... what I really love is the person who edits the credits. I mean, I'll never forget it. Sorry, Lego Movie 2 has just one of the best credit sequences of 2019.
Chris is one of 3 people that saw Lego Movie 2.
And you were one of them because you came with me for my birthday.
So you're the only 2. Wow.
What was excellent was, so there was another guy in the cinema. The cinema was pretty full. But one guy, at every joke when we were watching it, when I say he belly laughed, like he was literally like, like crying. And it just made the movie so great. Because, like, I was just laughing at him laughing. So even when some of the jokes weren't landing, the fact that this guy was just having... And when the credits were playing, he actually went, best movie ever. And it was just incredible. Like I had so much fun watching Lego Movie 2, thanks to this one random man in the cinema who.
What? That random man should have been me. You didn't have time to go there.
Like, I feel like some movies, I feel like they're made better sometimes by audience engagement. I mean, like we said before, like I think Get Out is a movie that like it's a good movie, but it's made a million times better by watching it with a massive crowd because you actually get the reactions in real time to those things that are happening on screen. Yeah. But there are some movies where when people laugh out of turn, I get really irritated. Like I hate to be a cynical fuck because like I love people actually being engaged in movies, but like okay, I'll give you an example. The Avengers movies, every time RDJ opens his mouth, I have like 45 neckbeards behind me just cackling like hyenas. I hate that shit.
I must admit, we were probably those people in Endgame where Hulk and Ant-Man were...
that was funny. That was funny.
Those kids.
He's actually saying no. It was one of photograph.
I love that they've just totally got that Ant-Man as a joke.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why they can't make a good Ant-Man movie when in not Infinity War, in Endgame and in Civil War, he's the best. He's one of the best fucking things in it. Right?
Yeah.
I saw Endgame at a midnight screening, and then I saw it a second time, and it was a dead screening, and it really dampened my feelings towards the movie. And then I went with my friend, and he brought his little brother along, who's I think like 12 or 13, and sitting by him and watching him freak out. And it was also a packed screen. It was really good. It was a really good vibe. Just watching him, like, see Cap pick up the hammer and all these kinds of things.
Yeah.
Going, like, to watch him watch it. And then you sort of like, you remember like, oh, I remember when I was 12 and I saw like what Iron Man or whatever blew my mind. And it must be a really like magical experience to see. And
Yeah, no, for sure. I had a similar experience watching Shazam, like because like I actually went and saw it, and there was a dude there who actually was like a massive Shazam fan, like the old ass Captain Marvel comics, and like everything, like this middle-aged dude was like crying tears of joy. I'm like, that warms my heart. I'm like, oh, that's kind of nice.
It's kind of annoying though, because obviously Shazam killed the MCU. So as much as it could have been an enjoyable movie. Obviously, DC have now killed the MCU with Shazam.
Well, Joker's about to kill the MCU.
Of course. Of course.
Oh. Have you guys seen it yet?
No.
It's not out here yet, is it?
It's out on next Friday here.
No, every time I see the trailer, I just hear Send in the Clowns like laughing, because it just makes me think of The Simpsons when Krusty does his comeback special. It's just literally every time I see the trailer.
Oh my God, what a reference.
Every time I see the trailer, I'm just like thinking of him going, Send in the Clowns. I'm like, it just takes me out of what looks like could be a good movie. And then...
Would you rather watch Krusty the Clown movie?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yes!
No, but it's done in the style of Joker, so it's like live action, gritty.
Doubly yes.
Like you see like...
Can you imagine that as a gambit? Joaquin Phoenix as Krusty. Just imagine that poster. Imagine that poster. Like, are you telling me even if it was garbage, right? If Joker's bad, like, okay, we've got a bad movie. A Krusty the Clown live action movie with Joaquin Phoenix. Yes, of course I would watch that.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd probably camp out like for a day and get my ticket for that thing, to be honest with you. Because like that's such a meme in and of itself. That movie can only surpass my expectations that actually existed.
I'm actually not that excited for Joker, and I feel like I'm the only person on the planet who's not.
I'm not that excited. I told you that. We're pretty in firm agreement.
You're not a comic book fan in the same way, are you? Like,
no, I guess not. You and your nerds.
The equivalent of my mum going, "Oh, that Joker film is good, doesn't it?"
All right.
Yeah.
Hell.
Like the thing with the Joker film, I mean, I'm definitely excited for it because, like, I mean, one, I kind of like when directors kind of change their tones over the course of their careers. Like, for example, Adam McKay doing Will Ferrell comedies and then moving into political satire. I think it's, really interesting. And with Todd Phillips, I mean, he's made probably some of my favorite comedies, like Old School. But now he's... Say again?
Hangover Free.
All right, I'm gonna hang up now. but you know what I mean? When like it's really interesting to see a director kind of like mold themselves into a new kind of framework of directing. So I'm excited to see that. And also, I mean, Joaquin's like one of the best actors working today, and he really isn't getting like a lot of love. Yeah,
I think it'll be a great performance. I just, Batman and the Joker, they're diametrically opposed for a reason.
Yeah,
and to take one of them out of the mix seems pointless to me. And also, I'm a really big fan of King of Comedy, the Martin Scorsese movie, as well as Taxi Driver. They're both masterpieces. Oh, yeah. And to me, it just kind of feels like they put those two movies together, slapped the Joker on it, and then they've got a movie. I mean, even I think I saw an interview with Joaquin Phoenix, and he said, it's not really beholden to the comics, which is fine, but why make it a Joker movie? Why not just make it its own thing? If you're not going to, if you're going to stray away from the comics in such a big way and give them an origin story that's so definitive,
because then it's Taxi Driver though. That's the issue, isn't it? It's a reskin of a film that already exists. That's a really good film, so it's going to be good. Do you know what I mean? Like, what film do you have otherwise? You're pitching Taxi Driver, convenient way to kind of almost. I mean, I've not seen the movie, so this is all just kind of like from the trailer and things like that, but it just seems to me like it's a lazy way to redo Taxi Driver and make it relevant and guarantee that it does well at the box office.
I want it to be good. I want it to be bad. Yeah. There's no joy in sitting there and going, oh yeah, this movie sucked. Like, if it's good and I enjoy it, that'll be a wonderful thing. But I'm going in with managed expectations, I think.
Sure.
Well, I think this is the thing. Like, can you go into a DCEU film without managed expectations after Batman v Superman and Justice League? Like, I'm not even saying that as a joke. Like, genuinely, I mean, like every single one. I think it's sad when you have to do that. I mean, like, what would you say, Matt? Like, Wonder Woman's the only like legitimately good.
Oh well, I mean, I'm a really big fan of. I think it's really fun.
I love Shazam. Shazam is great.
I like Shazam. I think Aquaman for me nailed what I wanted from a DC movie. Of like, it felt really distinctly different from Marvel. Wonder Woman is really good, but I think it still has that kind of Snyderian overtone. Whereas Aquaman felt like its own thing. It's really goofy in parts in a way that I think is really charming. And just the way it, in almost a completely different way to Joker, like embraces its comic bookiness. Like when Momoa comes out of the water in that full regalia in the outfit of the Titan, awesome. It feels earned by the end of the movie. I remember in an interview Momoa said, "Oh yeah, Aquaman, it's going to feel a bit like Star Wars in parts." And I remember thinking, "What are you talking about? This is going to be nothing like Star Wars." And then actually at the end, when all the different factions are fighting and he bursts out of the ground of that gigantic creature, there's this like massive battle going on in the sea. I was like, yeah, no, I'm kind of getting Return of the Jedi vibes from this. It felt like a big, grand epic. And also Momoa's just great in the role.
Yeah, he's really hamming it up. Aquaman. The thing is, Aquaman, I'm kind of of two minds about it because number one, I think that James Wan is a really underrated kind of auteur director. He really has a really distinct style to himself. But I will say, even though the visual flair really excited me about that movie, the script made me want to swallow bleach.
I think there's parts to it that are really charming. And I think particularly, I like it when movies come out at Christmas that have that kind of feel to them. Like, I like that no one really dies. I like that the brother gets kind of forgiven at the end. It felt quite warm and nice.
Sure.
And I really like the line where he says something like, where his mum says something like, a king fights for his nation, but you fight for everyone. And I think that hits the nail on the head of that character.
Sure.
And I also just like little things like the fact that he kind of indirectly kills Black Manta's father, and then later on, before they go into the trench, he has a moment where which Man of Steel was desperate for, where he goes, I don't think I should kill people. I don't think I'm going to kill. It was bits like that kind of I forgave the first act of the movie, where it felt like every 2 seconds there was just Atlanteans on their arse blowing shit up.
Yeah, but and I will agree that there are actually some really charming parts of the script, but I mean, that line in the beginning with Nicole Kidman when she's like going back to the sea, under the sea, we can't see our tears, and the husband's like, no, on land, we feel them. Like,
no, that is cheesy, but I don't know. I kind of think the movie pulls it off. But also, James Wan did Furious 7, which is that similar kind of tone. I mean, to me, I think is like if Fast and Furious was a superhero movie. I mean, now Hobbs and Shaw is basically anyway. Did you see Hobbs and Shaw?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Oh, okay. Do you know kind of roughly the premise?
I've seen bits and pieces of every single Fast and the Furious movie, and I'm of the mind where it's like after like Fast 4, they're like just the most fun movies of all time. But I haven't actually sat down and watched the movie from start to end. But I hear,
you're aware that Idris Elba has superpowers.
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Yes, like that's basically turned into a superhero movie. But before that, I think Aquaman is the closest Fast and Furious superhero movie, and I'm all here for it. And I'm excited to see what James Wan does next. I think he's shooting Mortal Kombat soon, isn't he? Or if it's already started shooting.
He's doing Mortal Kombat?
He's doing Mortal Kombat, I think. Yeah. Which I think that he's the perfect choice for that.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree. Just winding down here, I don't want to take too much of your time, but we got along pretty well, so I definitely want to have you guys back on again. But what's your most anticipated movie for the rest of the year?
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Even if, no, but I'm not that excited for it, but I'm so curious because I'm one of those people who sits there and goes, "Oh, I didn't like Jedi. Like we both loved The Last Jedi." I'm more worried that the studios are going to go, "Let's appease the people who hated it," but I just want to see it.
The Emperor is the thing that's really worrying me.
I agree.
Because to me, the greatest moment in Star Wars ever is when Darth Vader looks to his son and he looks to the Emperor and then he picks his son over the Emperor and he fucking kills him. So if he comes back and he's actually alive, that I'm out. I'm close to walking out the cinema if that he needs to be like a holocron or a Force ghost, and I don't want it to undermine what Kylo Ren's arc is in The Last Jedi, because I thought it was fantastic that Snoke sucked in Force Awakens for me. He's just a carbon copy of the Emperor. So for them to take that and in Last Jedi say, oh well, Kylo Ren he really wishes he could be his grandfather, but what he actually didn't realize is that which is kill the Emperor by proxy because he kills Snoke, and then for him to become the supreme leader was I thought really, really awesome. So to have the Emperor back in it feels like it kind of undermines that. Like I don't want the Emperor to be like the villain behind the villain again.
Yeah. I'm hoping he's more like like a Horcrux in Harry Potter. So it's more like there's an artifact where there's an ember of him, and he's featured in it that way in a kind of a temptation evil thing. I don't want it to be like, because to me that's the level of fanfic of, the Emperor appears and goes, "Mwahaha," that's like pantomime-esque. And it's the same reason I don't want it to be like, Kylo lied to you, Rey Kenobi. Like, it's like, I don't want any of that shit.
I don't think they'll, well, I mean, I fucking hope they don't reveal any more of Rey's parentage. Like, it's done, let's just move on.
Yeah. And it's like, oh no, Kylo was lying in the last movie. Really? Who are my parents now? Like, I would kill myself.
Exactly. And like the Emperor being back might not necessarily be a bad thing. I liken it to in The Last Jedi, like Yoda popping up was brilliantly done. It's one of the most beautiful scenes in Star Wars ever. But if they'd have put that in the trailer, I would have been really worried because I would have been thinking the whole time up to release, why is Yoda in it? Yeah. Whereas the fact that they revealed the Emperor's in it before it came out is what worries me, because that says to me that they're pandering a little bit. But we'll find out. Again, I don't want things to be bad. I want it to be good. My fingers are crossed. I hope it's good.
No, for sure. It's kind of weird because people kind of jumped to the conclusion that, okay, we heard the laugh, therefore Palpatine's in the movie. When I watched the trailer for that, before I even saw the cast list, which I mean Ian McDermott's in the actual cast, I thought they just played the laugh because it was kind of a callback to The Last Jedi, or not The Last Jedi, Return of the Jedi's laugh, and because we were seeing the Death Star. Yeah, like I'm kind of of two minds because like apparently George Lucas did have Palpatine coming back like in his original 9-movie arc, but I think that's just kind of cheapens, like you said, Darth. Yeah, if you look it up, I'm not sure exactly what kind of role he had, but I remember like I think Law of Cinema was on my podcast, and he said that George Lucas had an idea to bring him back. So, I mean, if it's executed well and he's back, then fine. But I mean, like you said, I think it's just kind of cheapens the whole redemption arc of Darth Vader if he comes back, because it's like, like the whole last movie is predicated on, you know, Luke as a father figure, and the first time he has one is an evil overlord he's been trying to kill the entire series, and so they have this father, you know, choose his son over his destiny. I think is really powerful, and to have, you know, Palpatine just come back just to be a villain, I think is kind of cheap.
Also, I'm a big fan of the new trilogy for two reasons. One, I think The Force Awakens does an incredible job of making people like Rey and Finn and Poe Dameron and Kylo feel organically part of Star Wars, whilst also being like something new. Like, I think of BB-8 when I think of Star Wars, you know what I mean? And then The Last Jedi goes, okay, now you've had your introduction, here's why this is totally a new trilogy, and it's totally, completely its own thing, and it's fucking doesn't follow the rules that you're accustomed to. So to then conclude it with here's all these callbacks to link it all together, I almost feel like that undoes what this trilogy has kind of worked towards.
Exactly.
Well, I tell you what really worries me as well is the fact that he's put the mask back together. That says, there's that brilliant bit in Last Jedi where he breaks the mask against the elevator, you know, and it's symbolic of the fact that he's not going to be in Darth Vader's shadow anymore. Why would he rebuild it? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like, you know, you guys love Last Jedi. I'm mixed on it. Like, I don't really love it that much, but like, I do agree that like those moments that really kind of, I mean, there are some subversion expectation things I really didn't like, but I mean, that's one I really loved, where Kylo actually assumes his own identity, and regardless of the actual subjective things of the character, the fact that he breaks the helmet is really meaningful, and to have him just regress after he's actually progressed the character forward is just kind of, I don't know. I think it's just really kind of unproductive for him to subsume that role when he already said fuck you to it, like in the last movie.
The point of the mask is to have the reveal in Force Awakens, then from that moment on, it's pointless for him to keep wearing it.
Yeah.
You know, once the mask is off, he's no longer Darth Vader 2.0. He's Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. I really, really, really hope it's good, because if the finale to that Skywalker saga isn't good, that will haunt me forever, and it will lessen, you know, the choices that Vader made and the choices that Luke made in the previous films to me.
I totally agree. Yeah. For you know, just quickly, my most anticipated is honestly a new film that I had no idea existed until like 2 days ago. The new A24 film from the Safdie brothers, Uncut Gems, with fucking Adam Sandler and Idina Menzel.
Have you seen Good Time?
What's that? Say again? Wait,
I just said, have you seen Good Time?
Oh my god, I love Good Time.
Good Time is so fucking good. It's a good time is a great time.
good time is a superb time. But yeah, like those two brothers, like they just kind of came out of nowhere, I feel like, and they are like so good at crafting tension and like anxiety driven cinema. And I mean, they get like fantastic performances out of actors. I mean, Robert Pattinson, I think, gives the performance of his career in that movie.
He's fantastic in that, and anyone that doubts he's going to be a good bat. Also, you know, the recent news that Jonah Hill might be. Just seeing people get annoyed at the idea of Robert Pattinson and Jonah Hill in a Batman movie just says to me that you've not seen them in enough movies, because they're both phenomenal actors.
Oh my god, so good.
The thing is, I love Jonah Hill, I really do. I think he's a really good actor. But I just, every single time I see like 2-time Academy Award nominee Jonah Hill, I think that guy was in Superbad, which is like one of my favorite films ever anyway. But I just always think of him in Superbad, calling like, you know, like screaming at Fogel, and I'm like, this guy's a serious heavyweight now. Like, he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
Me and Chris have a little bet that he thinks he's going to be the Penguin. I think he's going to be the Riddler, or maybe Calendar Man.
Calendar Man.
But like the long Halloween calendar, creepy serial killer would be.
Oh, for sure. I just don't see Jonah Hill in that role, but I mean, that'd be, you know, honestly, like he's a great actor, and I'll see him, and I would literally like probably anything he's in. But I mean, like you said, Chris, Superbad I think is the best teen comedy of all time. Like
Incredible.
it can't be like my favorite scene in that movie is when it's after Jules asks Seth to go buy alcohol for him, and then goes this fucking Evan on the soccer field and is like, listen, Jules told me she wants to get alcohol, but I mean, why would she? Like, doesn't she want to, like, you know, get alcohol from you? No, listen. And then it plays back the scene with Jules, and it's like, oh my god, my brother called me Hyman. Seth, I want to blow you.
I adore the bit where he's in the alcohol shop and he's like thinking through all the scenarios, and that old lady's just like, "Good luck, fucking Jules." And
Yeah.
he's like, "Thank you, I will." With all those
Oh my
bags of
god,
food.
dude, the first one where it's like, how old are you? 22. You certainly are. That'll be $80. And he pulls out an $80 bill.
And also that, "Don't try it, kid." And then he just gets fucking massive.
Don't try, kid. I never had a choice.
Oh god. Every scene in that. Also, I know so many people that I've encountered in my life that are like that guy that hits them with the car. He's like, yeah, I know all these guys. And then he's the fucking mental.
Turns out to be a massive creep.
Yeah.
He's Jimmy's brother, the singer.
I don't sing.
Yeah. Hey, my fucking brother's here from Scottsdale, Arizona. Y'all gonna sing for him? It's fucking bullshit. You're a goddamn singer. Fucking sing for him. And you sing good. I have a borderline savant memory with movies, so I see a movie once and I remember the entire script. So, you know, don't get me started.
So
No,
what
it's
you're
fine. I'm like that with The
saying-
Simpsons.
So what you're
really?
saying is you only need to see Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium once to quote it start to finish, right?
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw that movie like years and years ago, and I wasn't really paying attention. That was like when I got my first like phone, like my Motorola Razr, and I was probably just texting the entire time. So I don't remember too much, to be honest with you. But you know, maybe I'll flex the
For a rewatch.
It's a rewatch. That'll be the next video essay. Yeah, next April Fools, Full Fat Films and Lone Chemist will collaborate for Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. Why it's the greatest film ever made.
Of Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
It always reminds me of. I always get confused with that Jim Carrey piece of shit, Mr. Popper's Penguins, because they come out in like the same year, and they're like very, very similar premises. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. Like they're the same garbage, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh man.
Both low quality times. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, hey, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but awesome having you guys on. I definitely want to have you guys back on again. So tell the people where they can find you, like Twitter, Patreon, Instagram, anything you want to plug for future videos or anything like that.
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at Full Fat Videos. And then I think we're the same for Instagram, or is it?
Yeah, we're the same. We're the same across.
There might be some underscores in there. Or
well, basically, if you go onto our main channel, you can find our social media handles on the banner. But if you also search on the social media platforms for Full Fat Videos, we are I think we're the first result on like pretty much everything now. But yeah, we don't really have anything to plug. Do we? We've got an Endgame essay coming out very soon. We've got another couple of essays that are in the bank.
We've got a video coming up for the. I'm not gonna say what it is, but there's a 10th anniversary of something coming up very soon. And
yeah, I didn't want to reveal that one. That was the one I was going like that. A few people have forgotten about.
It's something very dear to me, and I want, if we can, to get the video out on the day of the anniversary. So I'm currently, that's like my MO is to get this Endgame essay out the gate, and then it's straight on to that next one. And I want to like devote a lot of time to it and try and make it a loving tribute on the 10th anniversary.
It's One Night in Paris, isn't it?
It is, yeah. that film awakened something in me when I.
Yeah, no, it's the 4-year anniversary of Collateral Beauty. Which that's another that's another like 2.5 hour podcast just by itself. All right. Well, thanks a lot, boys, for coming on. And yeah, we got along well, so I'd love to have you on again. And yeah, Long Chemist Podcast.
No, great. We'll be back on again.
For sure. All right. Peace out, homies.